Hello everybody, this is Gumjabar, and it's been a while since my last video. To be honest, I took a bit of a break from Starcraft. Playing Protoss on the ladder is really frustrating, and maybe this is just sort of whining or whatever, but you know what, let's take it what it is. I've just been losing a lot, so haven't really found anything that's been worthy of recording in my game history. Yeah, I took a break for about a week, but I came back today, played a bunch of ladder games, and unfortunately Battle.net was matching me up against Platinums, but you know what, by the end of today I'm back up against Diamonds, so I'm doing okay. Anyway, so this is a game between myself and I Conquered, who is a Platinum Zerg, but you know what, we're going to look at sort of a new strategy that's really cool, and that's a lot of Protosses are doing now. And it's pretty much revolving around the Warp Prism. So, as a Protoss, no matter what opening we do against Zerg, it kind of feels like we just get behind. If we Forge Expand, Zerg takes 3 bases and drones until 70 drones, and we can't really do much about it. If we decide to do a 3-gate or 2-gate expand, Zerg can just keep droning and not really expect much pressure, and it's hard to force units out of the Zerg and keep equal on them economically. Now, in this instance, just a quick note about the opening. I scouted that he is going for a no-gas spawning pool before hatch, which means I'm totally free to put down my Nexus. Unfortunately, he's being a little annoying with his drone, so we're just going to wait a second and then put that Nexus down first. The only time I think you really want Forge first is if they're doing a Speedling opening before hatchery, or of course if they are doing some kind of 6-spool or whatever. And I can actually put down the gateway before any cannon. I'm just not worried about Zerglings right now. And he's making his first set of Zerglings right now, and they'll be able to get in here before any wall in. So I'm not too concerned. Another thing important about Forge expanding is all this scouting. You gotta be scouting all over the place. And at this point, I see no Expo by the 4-minute mark. I'm thinking, okay, you know, he is probably all-inning, so let's kind of be careful about that. And he's putting on some pressure here. So, you know, not a huge deal, to be honest. And make a Zealot. And he will barely kill this gateway. Yeah, I don't quite have enough money to finish this wall in. If I had 10 more minerals right there, I could have made this pylon faster, and the cannon would have killed everything, but, you know, that's what happens. He only got 4 lings into my base, so that's not too concerning. Yeah, just kill it off, actually. Bad control by him. He obviously could have kept those alive and harassed a little bit longer. So again, I'm just scouting a lot. He does have his triple expand, which is totally standard for a Forge expand. Getting my gas geysers, transferring workers. And here is where we're going to do something a little different from the standard 3-gate, or yeah, Forge expand, I meant. We're going to be making Zealots. Typically, just make a ton of sentries here and, you know, prepare for any Zerg aggression in case you do like a Baneling bust or something. But what we're going to do is just make Zealots. And I know that this is coming pretty much because I know he didn't have Zergling speed, which means he's not really mining gas. He's not going to make Banelings or anything like that, probably. And he's got a bunch of hatcheries. I scouted those. So I'm going to harass with these Zealots. And typically what a Zerg has to do right now is not make any units, because otherwise they're just not really going to have enough drones to keep up with you. and you just pretty much constant harassment from 6 minutes into the game until the end. We're sending out these early zealots. We want to force Zerg to make any units he can, and just get as cost-effective a trade here as I can get. Almost killed that one. And something to keep in mind is when you're harassing with these zealots, it's okay to suicide zealots. That's totally fine. That seems kind of counterintuitive, but what you're doing is, in effect, you're trading zealots for Zerglings and for larvae. That's really the key thing here. Every amount of larvae that you make him spend on units is not drones, clearly. So if we're just harassing him all the time with these mineral light units, these really cheap zealots, yeah, he has to make a bunch of Zerglings and he'll eventually kill off the harassment, but at the same time, his larva is not being made into drones, while we are continuing to make probes. And you'll see this with Terran versus Zerg. They'll just trade Marines all day long and just send them in and try and kill drones, do whatever they can, because Zerg has to have units. And if you're forge expanding, very frequently Zerg isn't going to have units. So this is how we're trying to solve that problem. So yeah, we're making zealots, we're just doing whatever we can. All these could have been drones. We look at the worker count, we're actually pretty far ahead. We're 10 workers ahead right now. And our game plan next is going to be a warp prism. We're basically going forge expand, we're making a second gateway and then into a warp prism. And this harassment is going to continue. Zerg actually took a 4th base, which is really greedy, I gotta say. And he just doesn't have any units besides these Zerglings right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to warp in, yay, warp prism. And I'm actually making an observer next, which is fine. So yeah, we're just going to kill all these drones, and not only are we killing drones, we're forcing them to not make more drones. So we're doing like a lot of economic damage just by having these zealots in this mineral line. And I'm going to try and kill some of these Zerglings. These are +1 zealots. Actually, no, they're not. They should be. +1's going to finish soon. I should have started that earlier. So, yeah, our game plan while we're harassing here is, of course, we're buying time. We're forcing the Zerg into a bad economic position. So, yeah, here come the zealots. Here come more zealots. Just the zealots everywhere. That's the goal here. And I probably should have sent these guys somewhere else, but he has spines up here, so can't really do much. And I actually have not seen this 4th yet, or I've seen the creep. I guess I should have known it was there. So yeah, we're going to be getting charge, and eventually we're going to get Templar archives right there. That's our game plan. We're going into charge lots, High Templar, Archon, pretty much. If he's going Infestor, we want to keep them as some of them has High Templar. If he's not, then we just make them into Archons, and if he makes Roaches, we make a lot of Immortals. That's really the game plan. It's pretty simple, really. So here comes more harassment. If you go to the Zerg cam real quick, I mean, this is just so annoying for him to deal with, right? And we've got 2 warp prisms flying around. Although they're not really, I'm not making the best use of them. They could be in more places on the map, but you know what, that's fine. They've got zealots here, zealots here. I'm trying to get the spawning pool. And this also serves another duty. It keeps the Zerg in his base. Zerg being aggressive is very difficult against, for Protoss to deal with. And yeah, well, it's kind of an obnoxious zealots there, but that's fine. So yeah, we force him to make a second spawning pool, which is always good. There's the infestation pit. Notice how far behind all this tech is, which might be attributable to the fact that he's flat, and he can't really deal with the harassment. But on the other hand, you know, this is sort of keeping Zerg on the back foot and he's not really able to leave his base at all. Also, just a quick note on the worker count, 70 to 40. So here comes more harassment. Zealots are pretty good against spines, but I probably shouldn't warp in right in the middle of them. Anyway, again, I'm just sort of, you know, keeping him in his base while I get my third up. Got my Immortals, got my High Templar, got my Zealots, few sentries. You don't need that many sentries, to be honest, but they help. And can this Warp Prism get out? No, I can't. I should probably get Warp Prism speed at some point. So I got this guy up here. And notice he's pretty much just on Zergling right now. So this Zealot Archon stuff is going to be really, really strong. And we are pulling ahead in the supply count. And I actually haven't killed that Overseer yet. That's a little concerning. So lots of scouting going on. Always a good thing. No guys in this gas geyser. That's concerning also. I get my weapons level 2. So he's going to try and attack this, but I've got enough Zealots that it doesn't matter at all. Zealots are pretty good. And he has no upgrades, actually. That's really huge. So, yeah, we're going to just keep Zerg on the back foot while we build up our army. We're going to sacrifice a ton of Zealots. We're trading the Zealots for drones, for potential drones, for larvae, and for map control. That's what we're getting with our minerals. And we're doing that while we, you know, spend all of our gas on these Archons. That's really the goal here. So, lots more gateways. And notice how many spine crawlers Zerg has had to make here. How many minerals is that? Let's just count them up here. I'm going to count how many spine crawlers Zerg has made. Alright, what is that? 8, 16, 20 spine crawlers. That's 2,000 minerals. 2,000 minerals, not even counting the drones that were lost, so that he would not get harassed anymore. That's a huge investment for Zerg. Okay, so let's quickly just note this guy's in plat. He has 2,000 minerals banked. That's not so good. But, you know, even disregarding that. And here's another function of the Warp Prism. We get instant proxy pylon anywhere we want. Don't even have to wait for it. And now we're going to see how good Archons and Zealots are against Zerglings. They're pretty good. Yep, that's a massacre. And we're going to go kill this base, because why not? And the game is essentially over. Notice we are taking our fourth. We're always expanding behind this aggression. Get some feedbacks down. This is really good composition against Zergling Infestor. You have some Archons, mostly Zealots, and a couple High Templar just for feedback. Just like that, feedback, yay. Awesome. And here we go. So, I mean, a kind of straightforward game, I guess. The trick is that we're force expanding, and we're applying pressure really quickly after we expand, which is something that we haven't really been able to do before this type of build. And then we're just going to harass all game long. We're kind of taking some notes from Terran here, because Terran in PvZ has to harass all game long and has to, you know, make these big pushes and trade minerals for larvae. And Terran, if they're playing right, stays equal with Zerg economy. So, that's what we're going to try to do.